Okay, we want to solve this quadratic equation, and we want to use the quadratic formula. So first of all, step one is you got to have the formula memorized. So let's sing one more time. X equals negative b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. I'm going to make us think that if you don't write the x equals, then you're writing the formula incorrectly, because that's the purpose of the formula, to solve for x. I'm also going to make us think that you see the fraction bar, it goes all the way across, because negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, all of those terms are in the numerator. So here we go. I got my formula down. Now, to get my three numbers out of my quadratic equation, my equation must be set equal to 0, and it must be in descending order. So first we have to do some work here. I need to get my equation equal to 0. I want to leave my 2x squared on the left because it's already positive, and I always want that leading coefficient to be positive. So to move the x plus 3, I'm going to do the opposite operation of adding. I'm going to subtract. And by now, you guys should be able to do that at one time, move both those terms. None of these terms on the left side are alike, so I'll write it in the correct descending order. 2x squared minus x minus 3 equals 0. Now I see my three values. A is always in front of x squared, so A is 2. B is always the coefficient in front of x, so B is negative 1. C is the constant, C is negative 3. When we're doing a formula, when we're working with the formula, remember we're replacing variables, letters with numbers. So don't tell me A, B, and C are 2x squared or negative x. You can't use the variable. It's the number, the coefficient part. All right, so now we're going to start doing substitution. So we start writing x equals. Now, this is how I do it in my head. This first part of the formula, negative b, means make b the opposite. That's what a negative sign is. It's subtraction. And we've talked all semester, subtraction is changing signs. So if I look, my b is negative 1, so the opposite of that would be positive 1. So in this spot would go positive 1. It makes no sense for you to write negative 1, because you know it's going to change to a positive. So always think about negative b as putting in that position the opposite, the additive inverse of b. Then you would write the plus or minus and the square root. Now it says b squared. Now if you want to write on paper negative 1 squared, that's fine. But I'm just going to do that in my head. I know how to square numbers in my head. These are not big numbers. Negative 1 squared is negative 1 times negative 1, which is positive 1. The third part of the formula, negative 4ac, tells you there's going to be a number here, negative 4, times this number, times this number. So again, I'm going to do that all in my head. I'm going to take negative 4, multiply it to a, which is 2. So negative 4 times 2 is negative 8. And then I'm going to take that and multiply it to c, which is negative 3. So negative 8 times negative 3 would be positive 24. So what I want everybody to be watch out at, because there's a negative here, doesn't mean there's going to be a negative sign here. You're multiplying three numbers together, so it can change to a positive. All over 2 times a. So again, I'm going to do that in my head. 2 times 2 is 4. Now, if you want to do it like the PowerPoint shows and write all the numbers in and then do the calculation, that's fine. But I like to do the calculation as I go because it's easy. Now, we have to calculate starting inside the square root. So we write x equals 1 plus or minus square root. And we know 1 plus 24 is 25. And this is over 4. Then we work the square root. X equals 1 plus or minus. The square root of 25 is 5 over 4. Now, this is where I make my students break this up. You cannot add 5 and subtract 5 at the same time. So we need two expressions here. So we'll write x equals 1 plus 5 over 4. X equals 1 minus 5 over 4. Now, we can't divide yet till we have one number in the numerator. 1 plus 5 is 6 over 4. 1 minus 5 is negative 4 over 4. Last step is to reduce, to do the division. Well, you have two choices here. 6 over 4 is an improper fraction. That will reduce to 3/2. However, 3 does divide by 2 and makes a terminating decimal. So we'll accept 3/2, or we'll accept the terminating decimal 1 and 5/10. So either one's acceptable. Negative 4 divided by 4 is negative 1. If you look here, we have two answers. So we would say our solution set is x is 3/2 and negative 1. Or we could write x is 1 and 5/10, negative 1. And those are two real rational solutions. Why are they rational? Because both these numbers can be written as fractions. You could write negative 1 as a fraction by negative 1 over 1. Both of them are real because they're on the number line. Great. I'm glad you enjoyed it. See you again.